Welcome to Lunch Break Wisdom, short ideas from the world's most influential books designed for a quiet break between work, a commute home, or a moment to think more clearly. Today's episode explores Karma by Sadhguru. Few concepts have been more misunderstood than karma. For some, karma means cosmic punishment. For others, it is a comforting belief that justice eventually prevails. Many imagine karma as an invisible accounting system that rewards virtue and punishes wrongdoing. Sadhguru invites us to consider something much more immediate and transformative. He argues that karma is not fundamentally about fate, it is about responsibility. The Sanskrit word karma simply means action. Every thought, every emotion, every word, every physical action, these are all forms of karma. According to Sadhguru, karma is not something happening to you, it is something unfolding through you. This shift changes everything. Because if karma is merely destiny, people become passive. But if karma is the accumulation of action and impression, then people regain agency. The central message of the book can be summarized in one sentence. Your life is largely shaped by the way you participate in it. This does not mean individuals control everything. Accidents happen. Illness occurs. Economic conditions fluctuate. People influence one another. Yet within these realities, human beings still retain the power to choose their responses. This idea echoes throughout history. Two people experience similar hardships. One becomes bitter, the other becomes compassionate. The difference often lies not in circumstances, but in how experience is processed. Another major theme of the book concerns unconscious living. Much of human behavior is habitual. People react automatically. They repeat emotional patterns. They inherit beliefs without examining them. They operate from conditioning accumulated over years. Sadhguru suggests that this conditioning is what most people mistakenly call fate. They believe life is happening to them. In reality, they are often recreating familiar patterns unconsciously. Think about recurring conflicts, repeated financial mistakes, chronic procrastination, relationship dynamics that seem strangely familiar. Without awareness, the past continually recreates itself. The good news is that awareness interrupts repetition. Another important concept involves responsibility. Many people interpret responsibility as burden. More obligations, more stress. Sadhguru redefines it. Responsibility means the ability to respond. If people assume they are powerless, transformation becomes impossible. If they recognize their capacity to choose responses, new possibilities emerge. This perspective can feel uncomfortable. Blaming circumstances is often easier, yet responsibility also empowers. It reminds people that even when they cannot control events, they can influence how they engage with them. The book also explores identity. Human beings become attached to stories. Successes, failures, traumas, social labels, these identities shape perception. Sadhguru argues that excessive identification limits freedom. People begin defending narratives rather than exploring possibilities. The more rigid identity becomes, the less flexible behavior becomes. This raises an important question. Who would I be if I stopped defining myself entirely through my past? Another recurring theme concerns intention and attention. Where attention goes, energy follows. People frequently allow their minds to drift toward resentment, anxiety, comparison, fear. Over time, these mental habits influence emotional experience. Sadhguru encourages greater intentionality. What am I cultivating within myself? Am I strengthening clarity or confusion, compassion or bitterness, courage or avoidance? The book also emphasizes inner engineering. many people invest significant effort improving external circumstances, careers, homes, appearances, status. Yet, relatively little time is devoted to understanding how one's own mind functions, how emotions arise, how reactions develop, how attention operates. Sadhguru suggests that inner mastery deserves equal importance. Because regardless of external conditions, people experience life through their own inner landscape. Another important lesson concerns freedom. Many people equate freedom with the absence of constraints, the ability to do whatever they want. Sadhguru proposes another definition. True freedom emerges when people are no longer compelled by unconscious patterns, when anger does not dictate behavior, when fear does not determine choices, when habits no longer control destiny. Freedom becomes internal rather than merely external. The book also addresses suffering. Pain is inevitable. Disappointment, loss, uncertainty, yet much suffering emerges through resistance, rumination, identification, stories repeatedly told about what should or should not have happened. Sadhguru encourages readers to distinguish between events and interpretations. While circumstances influence experience, interpretation often amplifies or alleviates distress. This insight aligns surprisingly well with modern cognitive psychology. Another profound teaching involves living consciously. Most people assume major life changes require dramatic action. Sadhguru emphasizes smaller moments: how you eat, how you speak, how you listen, how you respond to frustration. Transformation occurs incrementally. Every moment offers opportunities to reinforce awareness or strengthen unconsciousness. The book also explores acceptance versus resignation. Acceptance means acknowledging reality clearly. Resignation means giving up. Acceptance often creates the foundation for effective action. People cannot solve problems they refuse to recognize. By seeing circumstances accurately, energy previously consumed by denial becomes available for constructive engagement. Toward the end of the book, Sadhguru returns repeatedly to the theme of possibility. Human beings possess extraordinary adaptive capacities. Patterns can change, relationships can heal, perspectives can evolve. Life need not remain confined to inherited scripts. This optimism differs from wishful thinking. It emerges through participation, awareness, practice, responsibility. Ultimately, karma reframes one of spirituality's most misunderstood concepts. Karma is not cosmic revenge, nor is it fatalistic predestination. It is the ongoing process through which actions shape experience. The invitation is simple but profound. Become conscious. Recognize conditioning. Take responsibility. Choose intentionally. Because while no one controls everything, everyone influences something. Perhaps the greatest lesson is this: life is not merely what happens to you, life is also how you happen to it. And within that space, between stimulus and response, lies the possibility of transformation. Not overnight, not perfectly, but moment by moment, choice by choice, action by action. Because every action plants seeds, every habit shapes identity, every response influences character, and through greater awareness, people may discover that they possess more authorship over their lives than they once imagined. Sadhguru takes the discussion even deeper by suggesting that karma is fundamentally memory. He explains that who you are at this moment is the product of multiple layers of memory operating simultaneously. The most obvious is mental memory, the experiences, beliefs, and stories you consciously remember. But beneath mental memory lies genetic memory. Your body knows how to grow fingernails, how to heal wounds, how to digest food, how to regulate countless biological processes without conscious instruction. You did not learn these things intellectually, they were inherited. The body remembers. Sadhguru then points toward evolutionary memory. Within every human being exists the imprint of millions of years of evolutionary adaptation. The instinct to avoid danger, the tendency to seek belonging, the fight or flight response. Many reactions that people assume are purely personal may actually reflect ancient survival mechanisms operating beneath awareness. Then comes what Sadhguru calls karmic memory. This is the accumulated residue of how you have lived. Every thought repeatedly entertained, every emotional pattern rehearsed, every reaction strengthened through repetition. Over time, these patterns create tendencies, what people often refer to as my personality. And this is where the discussion becomes deeply practical. Most people identify strongly with their personalities, but Sadhguru challenges this assumption. What if much of what you call yourself is simply accumulated memory expressing itself through habitual patterns? If someone repeatedly reacts with anger, anger becomes easier. If someone repeatedly chooses compassion, compassion becomes more natural. Neural pathways strengthen, emotional tendencies solidify, behavioral grooves deepen. Eventually, people mistake conditioning for identity. This has profound implications because if personality is largely conditioned memory, then personality is not fixed. But the way you respond today need not define your future. According to Sadhguru, karma is not some cosmic judge sitting in the sky distributing rewards and punishments. Karma is not God keeping score. Rather, karma is the simple reality that your actions leave impressions, and those impressions influence future actions. You plant seeds through thought, emotion, and behavior. Those seeds gradually shape perception. Perception shapes choice. Choice reinforces patterns. Patterns become destiny. Every moment becomes an opportunity either to strengthen unconscious conditioning or cultivate greater awareness. This perspective shifts the conversation from blame to responsibility. The more conscious people become, the less compulsive their lives become. And perhaps this is Sadhguru's deepest insight. The goal is not to eliminate memory. Without memory, you could not function. The goal is to prevent memory from unconsciously dictating every aspect of your existence. To use memory as a resource rather than becoming imprisoned by it. To respond freshly to life rather than endlessly recycling the past. Because when unconscious patterns dominate, people call it fate. But when awareness enters the equation, new possibilities emerge. And that, according to Sadhguru, is the true purpose of understanding karma. What does karma mean to you? Punishment, destiny, responsibility, or something else entirely? Share your thoughts below and suggest future books for lunch break wisdom. Please subscribe and comment.